All right, welcome back, everybody. Altars by Kronos. Gonna bring you another top 8 for Tournament 26. This is between Jack and Kim, but first we're gonna watch that cool intro.
Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen.
All right, we're gonna check out the first deck here. This is Jack's deck. You'll see the land tax Ivory Tower. Now, if you're not familiar with Four Horsemen at all, you can take a look at it, but Ivory Tower is restricted. You'll see some Thunder Spirits there. Some Fine Offerings are huge. They basically take the place of Disenchants. It does not affect enchantments, but it definitely is an artifact because this format is artifact heavy at times. So you'll see some things in there. Get rid of Abyss or Dust to Dust. But this is a pretty cool deck. This is basically all white, but you can look there. You'll see 4 Jihads. That's gross in a good way. You'll see Spirit Links. They're like your swords. They're not only just for life on your own, but they can also be for controlling your opponent's creatures. You'll see some you'll see some great creatures in here. We have Witch Hunters. Breacher's a strong format. You got 4 Wolves. This is a really cool deck. I really enjoy this deck. So let's go see what this looks like. I can't wait to watch this matchup. We're going to check out the other deck here. This is a pretty cool control deck. You'll see he does main deck 4 spikes. Not quite sure how they're going to work out. Personally, I haven't really been affected by them, but opening hand, those things are strong. Your opponent puts out, if you end up going first and your opponent lays out a 1-1 or hey, even an Ivory Tower or something, it's easy to 4 spike it and destroy it. So they definitely have their good uses. You'll see, I believe there's some remove souls. We got dibs. You got drakes, flying men, preacher. He's doing the land tax thing also, but he's doing what I was kind of do about it. I'm not worried about going crazy with tower and all these other uses for it. I want to draw the lands out of my deck. So when I do draw a card, I don't have to worry about it. And it goes really well with that tome he has out. So he draws all the lands with land tax that he needs, discards the lands to draw another card. And the more he grabs out, the better he's going to get. So basically, he's filtering his lands out of his deck extremely fast, and every card he draws is going to be closer and closer to a very high percentage of non-land cards. So you'll see some other cards in the sideboard. Miracle Worker is a good one. It removes enchantments from your creatures. So if the other person is playing Spirit Links on your creatures, you can side them in and just remove them. Flash Flood is huge. All these cards are huge. Dust to Dust. Presence of Master. That's a huge thing. If you get that out before enchantments, that is huge. So let's start watching this match here, guys. I'm really excited for this. So we're gonna start off. I believe watch Jack won the roll, and Kim is on the right. Looks like a quick planes to a. Oh, there's this Ivory Tower. That's a good start. That was before Kim had a turn. Kim probably would have had a 4 spike. I almost wonder if he had one in hand. I only didn't pass. He's just going to gain the life. I'm willing to bet he has a play like that would tell me he has land tax. But he's going to pass as if he's hurting. The opponent's going to play land and he'll play land tax. That's my guess. That's my guess. Oh, see, he played a land now. I'm surprised. I wouldn't have played my planes out. Especially if I'm not doing anything, he could have taxed. See, that gives Kim an opportunity to stay under land tax. So he could basically play the rest of the game and not trigger Jack's land tax now. Looks like he's deciding. Looks like, I believe that's a maze. I typically do not play them. I wait until my opponent plays a creature, especially if they play dibs. I definitely hold mazes in my hand. So I would highly recommend, if you guys are watching this at some point, to not play Maze of Ith until your opponent has a creature out that actually matters. Because right now, all we did was, if I was Jack, I would not have played that second Plains. If I was Kim, I wouldn't have played that Maze either, because there's not a threat on the board. The only time I put them out early is if I'm worried about ball lightning. So if I see somebody playing a lot of red, that'll indicate ball lightning. But it looks like Jack got lucky here, and he has his land tax, so he's going to gain some serious life there. Now he can play and stay under his tax. So I'm waiting for an Abu or, yep. Okay. Got the wolves. Oh, we got two. Oh, okay. We got our remove soul on the other one. Very powerful card to remove soul. It's a great counter spell in this format. It's a lot of creature heavy. So it's awesome. And we got another land out. So we're tapping 3. What do we got? A dib. Well, that might negate some of the life, but he's going to tax first. So for a while, it's not going to negate anything. Because he can always tax. Tower. And then, even if he has to discard, who cares? Discard the extra cards until you get all your basics out. Wow, 33. That's fast. That's why I said it's not Tower that's the problem. If you look at it, Tower would have still been a lot. It wouldn't have really been any difference in life. Tower is not actually the issue. The only issue in this format, in my mind, is land tax, and that's proof right there. He could have had 2 towers out. Still wouldn't have gained as much life as he gained right now. I still think land tax should be the card that's restricted. Just my 2 cents. So Kim's going to have to pop some serious damage off here because he's got to play catch up a little bit. Oh, Witch Hunter. There's a Spirit Link on the dib, which is bad news for Kim. There's another tax. Looks like my son's going to come say hello, everybody. Have a high five? Are you trying to say open? Good boy. Yeah, you watching? Now, Kim's deck could be extremely explosive. believe Kim's one of the ones I played. I uploaded a bunch of videos I had sitting for a while because I had to wait till the deck pictures were done. So I'll be adding a bunch of other videos here as we're doing this. Oh man, that's a little crazy. I don't think I ever watched two witch hunters go at it before. That's cool. That shows you the power right there. Bouncing that back. Looks like you just got another pass. We're going to have another tax. And this is what I mean about holding Maze until it means something. Right now, Maze didn't do anything. The only thing it gave is, I'm pretty sure it was 9 lands already. Might be all his basics. But you can see his life total right there if you can read properly. But yeah, you're in the 46 range if I'm not mistaken. Now, personally, I don't mind too much with my decks, but that's because I have Mirror Universe. I'll let them gain all the life, run out of all the lands, and then switch with them. Now, see, that's actually smart because now Kim has to decide. He can't do anything else because if he picks anything other than that hunter, Jack can start popping Kim stuff back to his hand or it becomes a problem. So Kim's pretty much inevitably going to be bouncing that back to Jack's hand. Looks like we dumped a Divine Offering there. Yep. He doesn't have really a choice in the matter, so he has to do that. $51. Yep, he knew that was coming down. If you're wondering why he's playing all his planes out, I believe he got all his basics already. According to the video, there's no more basics in his deck. So it's pretty much an extremely high % chance he's going to be drawing a non-land. There are some lands left, but there's a Spirit Link on the Dib. At least it'll stop the abuse here. Here we go. Now Kim's got a life engine going. It's not going to really do any damage to Jack, but at least Kim's going to be gaining some life. We'll see about resources. Oh, that's interesting. From what I understand, looks like we played that beforehand. Enchantments really should be played before combat. You can't play an enchantment as an instant. That's crazy. It's almost at 60 already. But I love Kim's idea. I love Spirit Links with dibs. I think they're huge. I won a lot of games when I was in a tournament testing around in the beginning. I rushed into it, but I won most of my games actually, curb and everything. But Spirit Link was a huge player in that. Uh-oh, now we got a problem. Preacher's out. That's not good. Not really. I mean, he's going to have to bounce the Hunter. If he doesn't bounce the Witch, then he's going to end up losing a lot more in the end, I think. Yeah, because now, see, now Jack can bounce Kim's Hunter back to his hand and replay Preacher next turn. And that gives Jack an active Preacher. Oh, we got another lane tax. Wow, this game's a little crazy. Saw 24 go by. I wonder if they're keeping track of all the city damage and the dip damage. I mean, technically it goes off, so. Yeah, see, if I was Jack here, I would bounce Kim's. Yeah, there's a Preacher. But now he can bounce the Hunter on Kim's side back to Kim's hand. Yep. Alright, so now he has inevitable Preacher online. And now Kim is the one that has to be forced to play that card every single turn, basically. So if he doesn't play that Hunter or get rid of that, let's put it this way, either way, they got to get rid of the Hunters on each side, but Kim has to get rid of Jack's Hunter. That Witch is going to destroy Kim if he doesn't do that. Now, I could be wrong here, and I haven't watched this game. I just watched enough to know who went first in the beginning. I like to go along and be surprised with you guys. But I would have definitely been bouncing Jack's Hunter back. I would not let him have that Hunter. I mean, worst case scenario, he gets your dib for a little bit, but he'll get some life. You're not going to lose any life. It's Spirit Linked. He's already at an ungodly amount of life anyway. But your dib's going to die because of the mutation on it. The only catch remember of Spirit Links are the damage happens first. You lose the life before you're allowed to gain it back. If you ever hit 0, you're dead. I personally, my deck was a little weird. I had to mess around with it for a little bit, but I played a little in the beginning of the tournament to see how it played out and what changes I need to make because I knew I needed a better sideboard, but I find two boomerangs are absolutely massive in a deck. Now, I also play Amnesia, which is gross. For instance, right now, Kim would have had the mana to play Amnesia. Could have took everything that's not a land out of Jack's hand and discarded it. And now that he doesn't have any basics to pull, that would have really stopped his extra life gain. Especially since you could have boomeranged, say, Preacher back to his hand and then wiped his entire hand out. So on, say, Jack's end step, you boomerang the tower, and your turn, you amnesia Jack's entire hand. That gets rid of the biggest threat you want. So whatever the biggest threat is, whether it's, and that's what I did to um, Abysses a lot. I'd send them back to their hand and I amnesia them right out of it. It's basically Mind Twist. Wow. Jack's really, Jack's kind of got a hold of this. I mean, I know Kim's at 30 at the moment, but technically he's behind on the game. We got a Drake. All right, now we're starting to add up some damage on board here. That's what I think it's what he has to do. He has to just play out everything he has and just try and overpower Jack. He's got to play like two creatures a turn or two. I'm kind of shocked at that one. I would have put it on the other dib. Because Jack's Spirit Link is on that dib. Now, to me, this is that's why I would have put on the other dib. I would have put unstable on the other dib, and I would have gave Jack my one that's about to die with his Spirit Link on it. He's gonna gain the life anyway, so give him a temporary creature, smack Jack real hard, at least for one turn, because I mean, Kim can't really do much until that hunter's gone, because the hunter's online. That's the problem. Because now we can take and bounce. That's 2 per turn. So basically, Kim's got to drop 2 per turn to try and stay somewhat even. Not really sure what exactly happened there. Ooh, we got a Thunder Spirit. I love that card. I wish I had some, but they're ungodly expensive for some reason. Alright, there's another Drake. See, now you run into a problem. I guess you can give Jack the dib. It would at least ping him for one each turn. And it's not like the dib can get through the Drakes. So if he uses Preacher, I think I'd give him my dib. Wanda Vith was another card I was going to test out. I mean, worst case scenario, the opponent discards a land or loses a life for a land, but if you hit a non-land card with that, that's going to do some serious damage. And it adds up. You know, you hit a Thunder Spirit, that's 3 damage to your opponent, unless they discard it. And when you're not at 68 health, but you're at a point where it matters, if you got 2 wands out, they could take like 6 damage or more a turn. You know, if you hit somebody's amnesia with that because it's random, that's 6 damage or discard the card. I'm pretty sure they're going to discard the card. There's a cool shot there, but something must be going on here because... Oh, I see. Okay, so yeah, everything gets +2/+1. I'm sure he picked blue. So that's a 4. Yeah, there we go. That's better. The nose does wolves or first strike? Now, see, if that was Jack, I think I would have used the Preacher first. See what Kim gives me. Return the other creature to hand. So let's just say Kim gives the dib. You can bounce a Drake, and then you would already get through for more damage already. And then you do that again next turn. Kim would not have any creatures left on his board because you would bounce the last creature to his hand. Worst case, he plays one, but he'll inevitably be taking damage because he can only have so many creatures out because he'd be getting 1 return per turn. And Jack can keep attacking with the dib, which would be basically 4 creatures attacking next turn, and Jack and Kim should only have 1 creature on board at that point. But if you guys have any other thoughts, please just post them in the comments. There's another dib. There's a ping. They would have returned a creature to hand, returned another creature to hand on my turn, took another creature with Preacher. That's 3. So that would have left Kim with 1 creature. And it would have been an open field for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm thinking 10 damage this turn should have went through. And probably 3 damage. That's 12 damage, I think, missed an opportunity on Jack's end, if I'm calculating this quickly. Yep, there's a boomerang. That's a perfect play on Kim's end. This is why I was talking about making sure you're using your preachers and your witches. Like, you have to be using these creatures because there's unexpected things that could come across that really screw you up. So now, instead of Jack doing 13 damage total so far, he really didn't do much of anything. And Kim has major board presence. And Jack's tapped out this time, so he had to replay his Jihad, so he can't use the Hunter right now. Now that's a first strike, so that's, I believe it's a 4-3 first strike. Yep, there's the dib. No block with the spirit? Or is he blocking with his own, with the dib? See, I would just keep, nothing's gonna kill it, so one of those dibs on Kim's side is actually on Jack's because of, yep, I believe it's a, or maybe it's the Drake. Alright, so there's a Witch Hunter. Like I said, Kim had opportunity to pretty much, or Jack had opportunity to pretty much clean Kim's board off. But now there's a problem where now Jack has to bounce the Witch back to the hand every turn. There's a ping. See, now if Jack doesn't bounce the Hunter back, Kim could bounce Jack's Hunter and then the game switches. If I was Kim, there's a card I'm putting in the sideboard here that I'm toying around with, but basically remove all white creatures from the game. It forces your opponent to draw a card for every one of those creatures, but I'd be tying that thing with amnesia. So I would be forcing you to kill all your white creatures, remove them all from the game, draw, let's say, 5 cards or 4 cards or whatever amount of white creatures you have, and then I play amnesia and make you discard all those cards anyway. So that's kind of what I'm doing, but I also only play 2 creatures in my deck. But my new version is, I don't have any games of it yet. But yeah, Kim. I feel like he's got to play the Hunter back out because it's going to give Jack something to bounce every single turn. I'm not really sure how Kim is going to get around this game. I mean, Jack's almost at 70 life. That's why I would at least give Jack the dib, because at least my clock's a little shorter, but I don't know of anything he's going to have to get around all this. He has to make sure that Hunter does not come out and stay active. There's a recall. Yep. I wonder if he has a Spirit Link in hand. But that's a good little tool, because now what he can do is bounce the Hunter back to his hand, or bounce Preacher back to his hand. I'd probably bounce Preacher back to hand. And I would be playing my Hunter every turn, keeping the mana open for a Remove Soul. There are basics left. I thought he grabbed them all. See, all Kim has to do right now is just stay alive. Because Jack's going to deck himself. See how thin those decks are? The idea of life gain decks is basically make your opponent quit. The problem with them is you land tax yourself so bad that your opponent just has to stay alive. So as long as that Hunter is gone, Kim can really sit down on not do anything. You just got to play his Hunter every single turn. But if Jack's Hunter is gone, he can bounce Jack's Hunter back to his hand, hold to remove Soul. Kim plays his Hunter. Now his Hunter is online, which means the Preacher can go back to hand. You get your card back. You do that on your opponent's turn. Now you got a massive swing for damage. But like I say, he doesn't have to. All Kim really has to do is just stay alive, and he already has the game won. Now see, that's a ground creature. I wasn't really worried about that guy. I mean, unless he gains flying, I wouldn't really be worried about him. I probably would have bounced, like I said, probably the Hunter back to Jack's hand and kept a Remove Soul open. Because without Hunter, Kim's Hunter becomes online. Sorry there, guys. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Kim's definitely has some kind of trick up his sleeve here. Let's find out what he's got going on. Yep. So there's the Hunter. But like I said, I would have boomeranged Jack's Hunter. Alright, there we go. There's some life. Now I would almost... Oh yeah, Jack untapped Preacher, so he has nothing. There we go. Now give Jack the Spirit-Linked Dib. Really? My thought is giving Jack the Spirit-Linked Dib. Because if he blocks with the Dib, you're going to gain a lot of life each turn. See, on Kim's side, the Dib is really just going to do certain damage, but I'm thinking if the Dib is on Jack's side, Kim's going to be able to at least get through with 2 creatures right now. But it would mean not only is he going to gain life when Jack gets pinged by the Dib, but he's also going to gain life because Jack's going to block. If he does block, he's just going to keep giving Kim life. Otherwise, that possible 7 damage is going to add up. Now, the only problem, like I said, Kim has is his Hunter isn't online. So instead of Jack not having any more creatures, unless he plays 2 per turn, Jack can get up pretty quick. And with that Jihad out, his creatures are very strong. Getting close to 74 life. That's crazy. Looks like we got another one out now. Holy cow. This is a really cool game. I still never thought I'd see two hunters out there pinging and bouncing things back to people's hands. Like I said, if Kim can just keep his stuff alive, he really just needs to Spirit Link Jack's creatures. That's going to do damage. Because if Jack has nothing but Spirit Linked creatures, Kim can stay alive. And Jack will run out of cards. What do we have going on here? I know that's the return. Okay, so he bounced. Alright, so he bounced the hunter back, but in response, the hunter sent the dib back. Now, see, that's a good play because now Kim has his hunter online. That's a whole game changing experience there. Now, Jack has to play it. The only challenge is Kim is tapped, so you know he doesn't have a counterspell. So now's Jack's opportunity to play it again because he knows he can't counter it. So there you go. Yeah, if you're going to boomerang creatures, remove souls are great to have because you boomerang the thing you don't want. When they play it again next, you counter it. Then you don't have to worry about it anymore. It's a permanent control factor on your side of the board. Is that a ping? What are we bouncing or what are we doing here? 82 is what we're at. Jeez. Ah, there's the remove soul. Okay. Another job. That's getting really dangerous over there. Kim really needs a Spirit Link. Good news is Kim does have that maze, which is why Jack hasn't really done anything. He's just gonna maze it. But Kim definitely has to hold a Spirit Link because if Jack gets another creature out, that's a lot of damage. Now this is where Kim can start taking massive advantage. You start bouncing stuff back to Jack's hand. So you bounce the flyer back to hand. Let's see if that's what he does, but that's what I would do. Yeah, I'd bounce the flyer back to Jack's hand and swing in for maximum. So that's what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for him? So that's 7 damage. That adds up very quickly. I don't care if you're 82 life or not. 7 damage a turn is a lot of damage. That's going to force Jack basically to lose 3 lands a turn. I know it doesn't sound like a lot when you got that much land, but he's going to have to interact, so it's definitely to return the flyer to hand and smack for 7. And I don't know what's in Kim's hand. I know he plays Unstable Mutations, a full set of 4, so if he throws down 2 more Unstable Mutations, sends the flyer back to hand, that is a insane amount of damage. Like, that's death. That's 13 damage a turn, basically, he can throw out. And if he's got a link, that's massive life for Kim. Now let's see if he's got Unstables and Spirit Link, or let's see what he has. Alright, looks like he's not doing anything, he's just attacking in. So there's where you're going to give a creature. Which isn't going to matter. Basically, it's just going to bounce. You're still going to take some damage, but yeah. That's what I mean about unstables. They can add up real fast. But now Jack can lose the Preacher. So when Kim up tats next, Jack's going to throw the flyer out. But you don't know if Kim has another remove soul. If he's got to remove soul, he can bounce the Preacher back. The reason I said flyer at first is Kim doesn't look like he has a counterspell. So at least the flyer would not have killed one of Kim's creatures. It would have just bounced off each other. Now see, those typically aren't a problem, but under Jihad they definitely are. Because it's basically +4 damage, so it is a 4 toughness, or 4 power. 5 toughness, or 2, I think it only is 2 plus 1 is what Jihad does. So it's only a 3. So he could just block and kill it, but that would be silly. This is where that Spirit Link would come in handy. Spirit Link the non-flyer. Flying Man and another dib. This is where I'd return. Yeah, see, Amnesia would have been massive. Spirit Link. Yep. Jack's starting to get full control back. Double Spirit Link. Holy cow. Yeah, now Jack just has to sit back. I don't know the card count of his deck, but if he's got enough, he could just sit there, because Kim's going to take 2 damage a turn right now. we tapping for? Oh, he does have an amnesia. Yep. Let's see. I would have returned first. That's a big player error. If you returned a creature to your opponent's hand, guess what they would have done? Discarded that creature. So return Preacher to hand, and then you amnesia. Preacher's gone. Now he can't take any of your creatures anymore. Hopefully you guys watch this and learn a little bit. This is an awesome game, but this definitely would have been anyone's game, no matter what, but this is cool. But if you do watch this, pay attention to what I was telling you. Especially if he held one of those boomerangs. He could have sent a Jihad and a Preacher back to hand and then amnesia'd. Not quite sure why he attacked with the 1-1. Unless he gave him the 1-1, but... Yeah, use Maze to take your creature out of combat, if it's going to die. Not sure what that entire discussion is, but basically everything's just going to bounce off of each other. So Jack is not going to be gaining life this turn. There's nothing left to tax for. That has to stay tapped or else he loses the creature. He only had 4 cards in hand, so I don't know how he's gaining life right now, but there's only 4 cards. Oh no, he bounced one, I think. That's right, he bounced before he amnesia'd. Or he didn't bounce before he amnesia'd, he bounced after he amnesia'd. So otherwise, the Preacher would have been gone. But if that is a dib he has, he should be taking damage. He shouldn't have gained any life. Not quite sure what's going on here. Be a little easier to keep track of the Spirit Links if there was little counters on Kim's creatures. But I'm assuming those are on the dibs. I played test against both of these decks. I was able to get Jack the first game, but we never got to play another one. Turning a dib? Guess he is. Remember, Preacher has summoning sickness. So if you bounce a Preacher, he can't take any more of your creatures. Another sale, my lord. My clock is getting real low. It's gonna have to return it. Turn the flyer again. I said earlier, I think the only play for Kim was to try and stay alive. If he played the bounce game and Amnesia a little different, I think all he had to do is just stay alive long enough. Jack's deck is going to be an insane amount lower than Kim's. But it might be too late for that now. Yep, so there's a little read there, but so huge thing. Even if Kim would have not have played any other spell different, but if he just would have played the bounce first, the Preacher would have never existed. So all this damage that is basically being negated would not be negated because Jack would not have had any creatures. Because if Kim times it right, it's end step, return creature, turn, return creature. So every other turn, you can basically slap in free of charge. Oh my god, another Preacher. Yep. There's the untap. Yep, it's got to take the damage because he's tapped his creatures. Wow, needed that about 15 turns ago. Yeah, it's still all over for Kim here. There's nothing he can do about it. So basically, his creatures are tapped. So all Jack has to do is untap both, take 2 creatures, swing in with both the white creatures, and it's game over. Kim's being smart at the moment. He's bouncing that back to his hand. So he only has 1 active creature. He untaps, so Kim's got his dip back. He's going to take another point of damage. What you got, buddy? Alright, put your play here. Put your sausages on it. I'll make them for you. Go ahead, pull your sausages out. Put them on your plate. Oh boy. Yep. There's a big swing here. Now remember, they get +4, +2. So all those white ones are +4, +2. You can, maze one thing, but you gotta chump block everything. It's only gonna give you a turn, basically. Yeah, I think my son's agreeing here. This was a cool game. I think in Jack's deck, I think I'd only play two taxes maybe. Or 1 tax less at least, but I'm in Kim's deck. I think he has 3 in there or something, but if you're digging properly, 2 taxes is usually good unless you're purposely doing a tax tower or something like that. But if you're just filtering lands, it's really all you need is 1 per game. Yeah? High five. This is an awesome game, isn't it? My little guy agrees. Yep, there's another. There's a, yep. Swing all out for nasty. That should be it, I think. 4 or 5. Yeah, he's going to be the next turn. Yep. All right. Well, let's sideboard here. Go on to game number 2. All right, we're back in game number 2 here. Let's see what happens. Now, see, here's the scary part about Jack's deck. If he gets a Jihad down early, that is pretty much death if you don't have a way to stop his creature. So if he plays a creature now, yep, he plays a wolf now. Let's see what happens here. 4 spike? Yep, there's 4 spike. Beautiful play. That's like your perfect scenario on those cards. There's another island. Pass. See, now if he drops 2 creatures, then Jack's deck definitely has it. Oh, he's playing a tax game. He's got such an aggro build in there too, though. If he played a land and 2 creatures out, and then the next turn when he untaps, he plays a Jihad. If Kim had a something blue out by then, that is massive amounts of damage. That's 6 damage. That is a very, very fast game. So looks like we're gonna dig for 3. That's exactly what this might be doing. I haven't played Jack's deck myself, meaning I'm the one piloting it, but this is another opportunity to dig, even without tower, just so you can get better draws. Now, in theory, I'm thinking that's 3, 4, 5 lands out of his deck already. Oh, he used a tower again. Holy luck, Batman. He only can have one in a deck. He already has tower. He already has land tax going, but technically, you know, Kim can try and hold, but Kim doesn't really have a lot of 1-drops or 2-drops. All right, there's a factory. Probably a div, I'm assuming. Yep. Yep, now we're going to tax again. Gain more life again. Yep. There's the massive life gain. Like I said, the chances of him finding a single tower and a single... Yeah, that's it. Right there. That might be a nail in the coffin already. But if he only had... If land tax is restricted, your chances of finding one tower and one land tax in the same deck are near impossible early game like this. But because you're allowed to have 4 tax, tax is a huge problem. Yeah, see, Kim needs a way to kill that creature, and he doesn't have one. It's too early for a boomerang and then amnesia. People were asking me why I was playing 4 Divine Offerings. That's why I play 4 Divine Offerings. 90% of people play stones, but right there, the early towers would not happen. I'm thinking there's no answer. It's too long of a pause here. Alright, there's a swing in. It's going to hit this round. That's another one. I wish I had one of the kings, man. They're so expensive too. They're insanely expensive. A lot of these guys I'd love to have in a format, but that's why we allow proxies. Yep, so that's pretty much going to lose life, gain a life. So Kim put himself on the clock at the moment with the dib, but the dib's going to be gone anyway. Oh my gosh. Yep. Oh, thank God. There's a remove soul. At least we got rid of one. Now we just got to find a boomerang and a remove soul for the other one. There's a swing for 1. Well, there's a maze on Kim's side. Again, he found a singleton maze. So now I found a single factory and a single maze. It's pretty much the best lands he can hope for at the moment. Problem is Jack's going to be untapped here, and yeah, goodbye. Pretty much anti-Arabian Nights right there. It's almost as bad as City in a Bottle. Yep. He'll never have a creature now. Yep. Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. Preacher has summoning sickness. You just block. Unless he's got a Divine Offering. Yep. It's the only thing I was thinking. No way you're attacking with that unless you have Divine Offering in your hand. You're not going to lose your best creature. At that point, it's not a gamble. If it was like a Kurt Ape or something, or another 1/1, that's fine. But when you attack with a creature you can't afford to lose, there's obvious, I have something in my hand that's going to stop me from losing that creature. Yep, there's the pass. If Kim plays anything, it's going on Jack's side of the board. Now, here's another thing, though. Jack could have waited a turn. If he waited, Preacher would have had summoning sickness, and basically Jack would have had a factory on his side if Kim activated it. Yes, Preachers are anti-factories too. But I'm guessing he has something else. He's going to put out too much damage here. At this point, I'd attack all out. Here's another Digital Killer. I should say Digital End free. I think we just scooped. Yep. Well, let's see if we can get a look at the decks here a little bit. I know I just gave you some pictures, but you'll see what some of these guys were looking at doing right here. See, there's the stones. Told you, everybody has stones. So, worst case scenario, you're getting rid of people's important artifacts, like Tower, stones for mana. They tap 2 life. If you have, extra Divine Offerings in your deck, and they're not playing a lot of artifacts after the first game, they didn't really have anything. Basically, just attack their mana base with them. They tap out, and it's free 2 life. So basically, it's you gain 2 life, and you got a free turn. All right, well, that's awesome games, guys. That's awesome. Good luck to everybody, and Jack, good luck. Hope you guys have a wonderful day.